What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I just woke up and I'm about to make myself a coffee, but today we have a 35-minute run and then a lift in the gym. I'm gonna basically go and do my training session after I have my coffee. I usually have coffee every morning because I love coffee. And then later today, I'm gonna be going over the best way that I built muscle and increased my endurance and how you can hybrid train. So stay tuned for that, but now I'm gonna go quickly make this coffee. Oh. So I actually got a little package in the mail from Raw, which is my supplement sponsor, and we got the new Polar bottles that they're selling. These are insulated, so I'm gonna be using those on my race for sure. And then we just got some protein. I got 2 tubs of this chocolate stuff here, and then the best natty sup that you can be taking right now to increase endurance, muscle growth, and overall progression in the gym. L-carnitine. Better than creatine. I've never taken creatine, so I don't know. I'm gonna be using the Polar bottle on my race in like the back saddle. I'll have a couple scoops of fuel in there. I'll have a couple scoops of fuel in my torpedo. You best believe I'll be taking L-carnitine as well. I think we're pretty much set for race day. Little recap of my week for you guys. I was going down a hill at like 70 kilometers per hour and my tubular exploded, and it was the scariest experience that I probably have had in a long time, because I was going around a corner and all of a sudden there's just like a loud pop, and then my front tire starts wiggling like this and I start to wiggle with it, kind of like a motorcycle getting speed wobbles. And luckily we were able to slow down and everything was still intact, but so sketch. So my tubulars are at the shop right now. They'll be ready before race day, so I'm just glad it happened now. And then within that same week, I also bought a FPV drone because I'm trying to get into like FPV flying and stuff. But on my first flight with the drone, I don't know if you guys keep up with my Instagram stories, but I ended up just crashing. Oh, it's mangled, dog. This is the drone itself. Got absolutely mangled. Like you can see here that just like the props are cut open. This thing on the top is all sliced. We've just been training. We had a 4-hour brick workout that I did at 2 in the morning, which was, that was interesting to say the least. We did a 4-hour bike ride and then I think an hour to 45 minutes off the bike, and it was pretty good considering the fact that I wake up at 2 a.m. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go finish my coffee and then I gotta go for a run and hit the gym, so. All right, we just wrapped up the run and we paced in at, I think like 5 minutes per kilometer for 6 kilometers over the span of like 32 minutes. And it was a solid run. Really pleased with that. We're tapering down right now, right? So we're like a week out pretty much. And, everything's kind of just tapering down. We're just sharpening the knife. We've already kind of built the axe up, forged it, and now we just need to get it ready for battles. So we're just in the final stages and just kind of priming everything. My heart rate was like a 140, 150 BPM roughly, and like it was pretty solid considering I came a long way since when I started my half Ironman prep. Had I ran at this pace, my heart rate would have been definitely 150, 160. So super happy with the effort. And this is just showing that the consistency over time has led to greater results. So very pleased with that. This doesn't really tell me much in terms of like how I'm gonna feel on the run, because I do have to bike 180K. However, what this tells me is my fitness has increased. And if my fitness has increased, there's a good chance that I will be feeling better off the bike than I did in Victoria. So overall, this is a very solid run. So I'm quite hungry because I didn't have much to eat for breakfast. I kind of just only had coffee. So we have some leftovers from yesterday, and I'm probably gonna have some beef and rice. Just gonna throw this in the microwave, and then on top of that we'll just have 1 scoop of protein powder. So this is gonna be my post-run meal: rice, beef, protein, and then we're gonna get ready and go to the gym probably in like 30 minutes, honestly, because this was an easy run for me. Usually I'm doing longer sessions. So we'll hit the gym, come back, and then I'm gonna go over how to build muscle and endurance at the same time, basically give you a rundown on hybrid training. So, all right, so we got back from the gym and it's currently 5 o'clock, probably gonna eat some food. But real quick, I just wanted to go over how you can build muscle and increase endurance at the same time. So I have 3 rules that you have to follow, or that I've followed, that work for me and are probably gonna work for the general population. So rule number 1 is being in a calorie surplus. Increasing your cardio, or the amount of energy that you're gonna expend in one day through cardio specifically, you have to be in a calorie surplus. That is indefinite. If you're not in a calorie surplus and you're doing an extensive amount of running, biking, swimming, hiking, whatever your activity of choice is, you will lose weight. And when you lose weight, you can also lose muscle with that, depending on how fast you decline. A good way to see if you're losing muscle is if you're losing strength. Strength loss can be a sign of muscle loss. While they don't go hand in hand, that is an indication that there could be some slight loss in muscle. Now that's over an extended period of time. That's not just like you go to the gym and you're super tired and you can't lift like a 1 rep max or something like that. No, I mean, if over a certain period of time you genuinely struggle to put up a certain weight that you were able to do before with a lot more ease. So calorie surplus is super important. The reason why it's important is because you're burning more calories. When you're eating more and leveling out your caloric intake to how much you're burning, you're able to sustain your weight and help sustain your mass and muscle. The second thing that you need to do is focus on hypertrophy as well as strength. So rather than just doing strictly powerlifting and strictly bodybuilding, you need to do both. You need to be able to lift heavy while also being able to do multiple reps at a respectable weight. Now, what I mean by respectable weight is a weight that's relatively close to your 1 rep max. So for example, if your top set on dumbbell press, flat dumbbell press, is let's say 80 pounds for 3 reps, you should be able to do the 70s for around 5 to 8 reps. And if you're able to include hypertrophy and strength training into one session, you're not only going to optimize strength and muscle growth, but you're also going to allow for the most muscle growth in a whole. So what that means is you need to be focusing on doing your heavy compounds at the start of each lift. So that's squat, bench, or deadlift. And then after you focus on your heavy compounds, you need to go into hypertrophy. So this falls under DUP. DUP focuses on using hypertrophy and strength at the same time within the gym. So when you pair up running with lifting, you're still able to sustain your mass because you are not only stimulating the muscle through heavy, high intensity workouts, but you're also stimulating the muscle through repetition and hypertrophy. So we need to make sure that we're including both so we don't have a lack of strength and we don't have a lack of hypertrophy. The third rule, and the most important rule of them all, is to do your cardio before you lift weights. The third tip that I have, and probably one of the most important ones out of this 3, is to do your cardio in the morning and you're lifting in the afternoon. This is because through majority of people's eating schedules and sleeping schedules, you're waking up fasted, or you're waking up after 8 hours of not eating, so you are already starting out at a lighter weight. If you were to do your cardio, let's just say at 8 or 9 p.m., you'll have all these meals in you and you might be slightly heavier or already have pre-fatigued yourself throughout the activities that you had done through the day. So if you lift in the morning, for example, and then you try to go for a run, you're going to have a harder time running just because your muscles haven't had enough time to recover. Because you are going to be doing deadlifts, you are going to be squatting, you are going to be benching, you are going to be focusing on hypertrophy, all these things, etc., you will already have pre-fatigued your body. So when you go and do your run, it's going to feel like crap and you're not going to be able to optimize. However, if you switch that around, and let's say you do your running in the morning, 1, you're going to wake up feeling fresh. And running is relatively low impact on the body if you're doing it correctly within a respectable heart rate range at around zone 2. So let's say you're going for a 30-minute zone 2 run, you're gonna be able to recover from that 30-minute zone 2 run a lot faster than an hour doing legs, or an hour doing push, or an hour doing pull. And that's because when we lift weights, we are stretching the muscle and putting a sustained amount of stress over a short period of time, utilizing our hypertrophy and our 1-rep maxes. However, if you go for a zone 4, like a threshold run, you're gonna have a lot harder time in the gym lifting, which is why I keep a majority of my runs in zone 2. So this goes on to the next thing that I have to say. Zone 2 is going to be your friend. You're gonna be able to build muscle, lose fat, increase your endurance, and feel great in the gym if you keep a majority of your runs within a zone 2 heart rate. Typically, zone 1 is gonna lie between 50 and 60% of your exercise abilities. Zone 2 is gonna lie between 60 and 70%. Zone 3 is gonna be anywhere from 70 to 80%. Zone 4 is gonna be anywhere between 80 and 90%. And then threshold is going to be anything above that, so 90 to 100%. So for majority of my runs, I'm only utilizing around 60 to 70% of my total heart rate capacity that allows me to recover enough for the gym. Now in the gym, your heart rate typically stays within a zone 2. I don't even think I've seen mine ever reach higher than 130 beats per minute, and that is extremely high for the gym. And that's typically because you're sitting down, doing a lift, putting the weight down, and then you're resting and you're repeating. So you're physically fatiguing your body, but your heart doesn't have as much strain on it. So that goes back onto what I said before. Rather than pre-fatiguing your muscles and having your muscles take time to recover after stretching them and tearing them slightly, making those micro tears, it's going to be easier for you to recover, allowing your heart to return to baseline, and then go hit the gym and exhaust your muscles, followed by a good night's sleep. And then if you wake up and repeat, that's going to be the ultimate formula to build muscle and endurance. Now, I go more in depth on this stuff in my 90-day hybrid program. If you're interested in getting into hybrid training or getting into endurance and lifting training, I recommend you go to my site and you pick up the 90-day hybrid program. I have everything that I'm saying on here and more in detail, and that's going to give you a low barrier to entry program to help you increase both at the same time. Now, some bonuses that you can add on top of everything that I just said is having a good pair of running shoes. So I use the Hoka Clifton 9s, and I also use the New Balance Fuel Cell Super Comp trainers. Those are my go-to trainers. I cycle between the two. My New Balances are for longer runs, and my Hokas are for shorter and easier runs. And then you can also get yourself some good apparel. I use Rise. Rise has some of the best shorts that I've used personally. I use their Rest Day Later shorts, and they don't stick to sweat, so they act as a dry fit material, but it's not really dry fit because it doesn't absorb the sweat. It just kind of brushes it off. And I found them to be really good and have anti-chafing effects like around my groin area. And if there's one thing that I struggled with at the beginning for sure, it was chafing. So that's typically what I'll do for my apparel. I'll wear Rise. You can use my code Jordan at checkout if you want to get yourself some hybrid training gear. So yeah, if you want to pick yourself up some Rise gear, you can use code Jordan at checkout, and I'll leave a link in the description as well. With that being said, those are all my tips for hybrid training, how to build muscle and how to increase endurance. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. It really helps a lot, and I will see you guys in the next one.